Introduce myself.
Yes, please.
Well, I'm Katie Hoang. I'm 17 years old and I'm a high school senior. I'm a professional photographer and I also have a nonprofit called Dare to Lead. And I live in Texas where I have two younger siblings. I live with my parents and my grandmother. My favorite subject is people. I take senior pictures, high school seniors that are graduating, and then also lots of family portraits. And for me, I love it because it allows people to see themselves in a new way and makes them feel beautiful. And I just love being able to do that. I've always been creative and I love capturing memories. No, I don't. Yeah. Yes, I live in Texas.
Where do you live in Texas?
I live in Dallas, Fort Worth, so it's kind of like more of the northeast side of Texas. Texas is so big, so it's everywhere. Yeah. I want to do something in business. I don't know what I want to do in business yet. And for photography, I love it, but it's not something I want to keep doing as I get older. I'm open to a lot of different things. I think I'm going to study marketing and maybe study finance. I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe news anchor, just so many different options, and I have no idea. But right now, I am trying to figure out colleges and applying to universities. And there's just so many in Texas I would love, but also in the other states. Creative.
Yes.
I would say creative because it applies to every single part of my life. Um, and being creative is just thinking outside of the box. And so with pageantry, I always try to think outside the box and see how I can do things differently, but also stay true to myself. And it applies to me being a business owner and just being able to always have new ideas and to keep trying new things. And I feel like being creative just allows for me to express myself creatively, but also to grow and just keep moving. Oh, it's helped in so many ways. I didn't have a lot of confidence when I first started pageantry. I did my first pageant about 2 years ago, and I walked to it blind. I didn't know how to walk on stage. I didn't know how to speak in front of a crowd. And after doing maybe three pageants after that, I have grown in so much confidence, but also I've been able to grow my platform, my nonprofit, Dare to Lead, and be able to speak to so many people about it. And that's my favorite part. And the people that you meet, I mean, some of these girls are my best friends now. My pageant coaches are my mentors, and it's something that I'm going to keep going with my entire life and just keep learning from. Yes, my first pageant was when I was about 15 years old, and it was a Miss America Outstanding Teen local. And I saw it on a flyer, I competed in it, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I did it. There's so many differences. I think the main one would be the talent part that Outstanding Teen has. For my talent, I did drawing on stage. So I painted in like I think 90 seconds. And my favorite part with the international system is just what it's based on. The national directors, Mary and Mel Richardson, have just built up a great foundation. And I love that it's Christian based. We always prayed before we competed. And I just love that there's girls from all over the world. I met some girls that lived in the Philippines, and I met people that lived in Ukraine and all those different places. And to me, like that's my favorite part because it just shows diversity and it shows representation. Yeah, so I founded it about 2 years ago. It's a nonprofit where we develop youth leadership through our educational programs, homeless initiative, and volunteer program. So it promotes leadership among young children and also volunteerism. We've done projects to where we raise money for cancer. We've done projects where we help the homeless by creating meals or creating blankets to help them. And so the main objective is to bring children that are maybe a little bit more privileged, bring them out of the bubble so that they can help people that don't have the resources to. And with Dare to Lead, I've spoken in schools, and I hope to be able to travel around the world and continue to spread the message that, you don't have to be a leader tomorrow or when you're older. You can be a leader right now and in any circumstance that you're in. And with Dare to Lead, it was inspired because growing up, I didn't have a strong female leader in my life. I went through a lot of traumatic events where um, I was exposed to addiction and abuse and those different things. And so I just didn't know what I was doing when I was little. And so I just had to learn for myself. And I don't want other children to have to go through that. Yeah, so our 3-on-3 basketball tournament, it was a charity tournament called Dare to Dunk. And I chose cancer because my cousin, my older cousin, he had cancer. He had leukemia and he overcame it. And to me, he is just so inspiring. One, because he loved basketball. That's my favorite sport. And it was a time in his life where it was in college and he overcame it after so many years. And I just loved how supportive my family was during that time. And it's just hard going through cancer. And it meant a lot to me because it was our first fundraiser. It was our first event that we had as a nonprofit. And it took a lot of work as a team to make sure the event happened with COVID. My dad, I'm a first generation Asian American, and they've always emphasized education. My dad says education is the greatest equalizer. And it didn't really hit me until now, like the importance of learning, because you can be so impoverished or just in an ideal circumstance. But if you just keep learning, whether it's learning a skill or learning in school, you can change that and you can educate yourself and you can overcome the obstacles. And with education, there are so many different problems in the world where people don't have the access to books, to technology. And I want to break that because it's so important for us to keep learning, not only about books, but about ourselves. And that's something that I also talk about too. It's just like learning about ourselves and being self-aware is super important. Okay, not math. I cannot do math. But my favorite, it has to be history or English. I've always loved reading and stories. I love it.
What is your favorite books?
Jurassic Park. Have you heard of it?
No, no. I watch the movie, but I don't read the book.
Yes, it's just all dinosaurs. It's pretty similar to the movie, but it was a book that I had to read in seventh grade. And I just started reading it and I watched the movie after. And I was like, wow, like I really like dinosaurs. And actually, one of our judges, he, I think, was the manager or PR person for Michael Crichton, was just the author for Jurassic Park. And that was so cool. I fangirled when I met him. Okay, I love Harry Potter, and Percy Jackson. Harry Potter, right? He's amazing. Do you like Harry Potter?
I love Harry Potter.
Yes. Have you been to the Harry Potter world in Universal?
Yes,
I like Harry Potter because when I started first reading it, I would just sit on the couch and I would just be so immersed in this story, in this world. And for me, it's one like J.K. Rowling and her inspirational story of overcoming so many struggles and being able to write a story that inspires other young people that, even if they are a little bit different, they can do everything they want to. And I just love how brave he is and how loyal he is to his friends. I think that's something that we can all take away from Harry Potter, is that, even though he's an orphan, he still has so much family around him. He has his friends, and he has Hagrid, and he has Dumbledore, and it just shows that, even if you are alone, you're not truly alone. Goblet of Fire, that's my favorite. I remember it was the longest book, almost the longest book. But just seeing the other schools come in, like Cedric Diggory, I thought he was so cute. And then the schools in France I came to, it was just so like cool to see the other wizards and witches. I'm gonna see where this year takes me. I still have to figure out what I'm gonna do for school, where I'm gonna be living in, for competing. Right now, I love the international system, and maybe when I'm older, I'll compete as a Miss or a Mrs. I don't know yet, but I'm open to everything. So I think of it in different ways. I think of it as training your mental state. So I do journaling. I'm a big Christian, so I pray a lot. And then training physically and just, going to the gym, working out. I have a trainer that helped me get my nutrition right, eating good food, healthy food, and then just making sure I'm active every day. And then also the pageant prep part of it. So I have a team of coaches that have helped me in interview and being able to speak well and talk about my platform. And then they help me with walking and making sure I get like the routine for the stage right, and wardrobe. And so just kind of like getting all the clothes. I was able to design my gown, and it was really special being able to do that. And so it's kind of all these different things, but it's like I have my director that helps me and so many people that support. The most challenging for me would be, see, everything's so hard in a way, but I think just preparing yourself mentally. I remember going to my first pageant, and I was always comparing myself with the other girls, but I walked into this pageant knowing that I'm not competing against anyone, I'm only competing against myself. And so it was kind of like a long journey of growth mentally, and just knowing that I'm going to put my best self out there. And backstage, I would always just like dance, or I would just, think to myself, Katie, this is your time, this is your moment. Don't distract yourself, don't look at anyone else. And so I think honestly that helped me a lot, because I would have so much anxiety before in my first pageant. And I think anyone can do a pageant. They just need to make sure that they're ready mentally, because it's a long week. It's a long week of having to be on all the time, having to smile and be happy. So I think mentally it's the hardest. Um, I never thought that I would be in pageants at all. When I was younger, my goals were like, oh, I want to be president of student council, or I want to be a doctor. And now, like, I can't believe I have this on my head. And I was talking to some of my family, and they're just so proud of me, but they're like, Katie, like, you're the first person in our family to do all of this. Like, we don't know what to, like, how to help you and like what to say, because it's so different. But that's what I'm all about too, is just being out of the box and being different. Yeah, I agree. It's a lot different when competing, and when I was competing at Texas International, we had to wear masks, we had to be a little bit more careful. And now that I have this crown and I'm trying to plan my travel, I can't go to all the places I want to go. And there are those difficulties, but there's also opportunities where, we use technology a lot more now, and I can Zoom call and speak to children from all over the world if I can't travel there. And so it's a blessing, but also a curse to being in pandemic. Yeah. Yes.
What is your definition of sisterhood in pageantry?
Sisterhood and pageantry are the girls that you connect with because you are in a pageant, but you believe in each other, you support each other, and you love each other. And it's unlike anything else, sisterhood and pageantry. Like, truly, the title holders that before me, I get texts and DMs from them just saying that they're so excited for me and they're supporting me. But also the girls I competed with, it didn't feel like we were competing. We were just there having fun, and we had the most fun ever. I still talk to them every day now, and they're like, Katie, like, we're so excited that you're in New York and all these things, and I'm planning to go visit them soon too, in their states. So I'm super excited to just have that sisterhood. Who was my best friend?
Yeah.
Oh, my Miss Texas we just supported each other, and we didn't have a lot of our family there. And so we traveled to Tennessee together, and we would just pop back in their rooms and just checking in on each other. But there's so many girls that I met during that week from the other states. There's so many to name, but I mean, I'm gonna go to Alabama soon and visit Miss Teen Alabama. I'm gonna plan on going to Miss Teen Utah and some of the other pageants in the area. I I told myself, I'm gonna go into it wanting to win. I'm gonna do everything I can to win, but it's also okay if I don't win because God has a plan and I can't change that plan. And so my strategy was just going into it, and I wanted to meet every single person. I wanted to be kind to every single person and for them to see who I am. And for me, like, helping someone else, that kind of makes me get out of my head and gets me not so stressed out, because then I'm not thinking about the competition. I'm just there having fun. Yeah, I think pageant week, I mean, it's so crazy everything you do, but just enjoy every single moment. And if you walk out of it with a crown, that's great. But if you walk out of it with no crown, you gain friends and you gain memories that last for forever. And you just there's so much to take away out of a pageant. So I get a lot of sponsorships from Clay Span, Competitive Image. I'm super excited with that. We have a photo shoot coming up in 2 weeks, and then I get a lot of travel too and be able to go different places around the world. And I get a lot of sponsorships with like skincare and being able to advocate for my platform wherever I go. And also, like, I gained a lot of the sisterhood that I was talking about, but also the connections that I met through the judges and some of the staff that were there are super important to me. I feel so grateful for the opportunity. I mean, when I was in New York Times Square waiting for my picture, there were so many little kids that would come up and be like, "Princess, princess." And being able just to be there and show them, this could be you one day is so amazing. And being a role model, like, first it starts with being a role model for my siblings because they're younger too. And seeing how proud and seeing how happy they are for me, and just showing them that you can really do whatever you want to do, and then showing girls that leadership, you can be a leader while being a pageant queen, you can be a leader while being a scientist or a teacher, and being able to talk about these things with them in person with a crown on my head, it just kind of elevates that message, and I'm so grateful to be the role model for those girls. Yeah, so my Instagram, Facebook, it's all under my name, the Katie Hoang. And I actually have a website I designed a couple of months ago too. And when you go on there, you see, I guess, my life and see what I do. I'm all about lifestyle. So whether it's food, fashion, fun, fitness, I post it all. I think that being vulnerable on Instagram is really important, and just to know that not everything's a highlight reel. I don't always have makeup on or this crown on, and just showing them that I'm a real person and I'm always there for anyone if they need to. I talk a lot about mental health on there as well and just living a healthy lifestyle. And then I also have a separate Instagram for my pageant stuff, just so I can have a bigger platform on both.
You talk about your website. You have a website?
Yes, I have a website called katiehoang.com, and I designed it a couple of months ago. I had my first website when I was in 7th grade, when I was about 12 or 13. It was called Craziness with Katie. And I've just kept building up. And for me, like, I love designing websites because it's fun, it's creative. I get to do whatever I want on it. So that's why I have it.
And what I find on your website? Photo or other podcast, blog?
It's a lot of photos. When you go on there, you can also find my business and also where to get my nonprofit information. I have a website for my nonprofit as well called daretoleadnonprofit.org. And then we keep that updated with different events. But my website has a lot of pictures because I'm a photographer, so I just have to have pictures. And you can find my journey as Miss Teen Texas, and I'm about to update it as Miss Teen International. Yeah, so my advocacy is Dare to Lead and talking about youth leadership. I've done other different things. We branch into a lot of different subjects like homelessness. We work a lot with the homeless. We do a little bit with cancer, but the main objective is children. My first action would be getting a crown box for this. It's so big. I mean, like this is my Texas crown. And because I need to get a crown box whenever I travel and whenever I get ready to do all the things I want to do, I need to make sure it's safe too. But it's really just all the preparation right now. I'm going to take August to plan all my events and dates to go places. I think preparation is super important, just making sure that I'm ready to take on the year. My dream. I would say that, like, having this crown on, it's a dream right now. But just thinking about the goals of my year, I have some different other goals and dreams I'll share with you. But one would be traveling internationally to work with Dare to Lead. And one of that is going back to Vietnam with the orphan village there that I've worked with, and being able to just volunteer and help with the children there in these orphanages and the transition homes. But also I used to go to school. I used to go to school in Germany, so I want to go back and visit my family again. But that's my dream. I'm kind of simple, but there's just so many different things I want to do. No, Vietnam. Yes.
Vietnam.
My dad, he came over to America when he was about 4 years old. And then my mom lived in Vietnam, and then she lived in Germany for 20 years, and then she moved to America. So it's mainly Vietnamese.
Have you visited Vietnam?
Yes, a lot of times. And I still have family over there. And my grandmother, she has a house. So when I go, I'll stay there for maybe 2, 3 months, and just visit all over Vietnam. I love it. So my family lives in a place called Bong Thao. It's on a coastal side, so it's kind of beaches there, and it's so pretty. And then also Saigon, the main capital there. It's so busy, and there's always something going on. And Nha Trang is also a great tourist spot. It has beaches there. My parents went there for their honeymoon, and they catch lobster and they eat it right there. And I think it's so unique being able to be in Asia and see all the different variety of life and the food. I love it.
Do you speak Vietnamese?
Yes, I do.
And German?
German a little bit, not much. A little bit, mainly for pictures. I have like 40,000 pictures on my phone. I try not to because I feel like being on the phone all the time, it's just like I want to live in the world and be able to talk to people in person. Instagram.
Instagram. What is your favorite tools in your phone?
My favorite, the camera app. Yes.
What is the last Instagram account do you follow?
Last Instagram account, was my Mrs. International 2021, Yolanda. She posted something and I followed her, and I think it was her at a baseball game with her family.
What is amazing, incredible in your phone?
Something incredible about my phone or in my phone?
Yes, in your phone.
I have to show you. Can I show you? Okay.
Take your time.
Okay, let's see. Okay, this right here. This is my home screen. And that was a couple of days ago. We were in New York, and I got to see my picture on Times Square.
What is
Yeah, and that was just
what do you think when you watch your picture on Times Square?
I was so in shock. I felt like I was being crowned again. Like I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh. And it only lasted like 10 seconds. So it was like just a blur of like, oh, taking pictures and like just looking at it. People around me were like, oh, is that you? I was like, yeah, I can't believe it's me. I always say I like to put out love and making sure I share that love. And something I like sharing a lot is my food. I'm a big foodie, so I love baking, I love cooking, but I also love trying new things. And something that people know me with is my oatmeal. I have this special recipe of oatmeal I make every morning, and people just like love talking to me about it, and they love trying my recipes. I like to think that I am. I'm still learning a lot, but when I was younger, I was casted in the Food Network's Kids Baking Championship, and that was my baking phase. My grandmother taught me how to bake, and I would just always bake banana bread, muffins, macarons, so many different things.
What is your best recipe, your best dish?
Banana bread. Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I love bananas, and something about it, I just love how warm and like homey it tastes. Oh, my message. Okay. My message is to dare to lead, dare to be different. I use dare because again, like think outside the box and everything you do, you're so capable of doing everything you put your mind to. If there's a will, there's a way. And I told myself that when I was going into this, if I want to win Miss Teen International, I'm going to do it. And just know that you are so capable and you are so valuable.